if you guys are anything like me, then you probably have a little bit of duck and goose meat left in your freezer. And today I want to show you one of my favorite ways to process the meat and get it into a form that's really easy to make a lot of things with. Because I know how difficult it is to just have a gallon bag filled with duck breast just sitting in the freezer and you have no clue what to do with it. So today what we're going to do is one of my favorite things. And it's pretty simple. You're just gonna make some hamburger meat out of your duck and goose. I've already got some duck and goose meat that I ground up earlier in the season when we were making breakfast sausage. And so what we're going to be doing is pretty much just taking that and mixing it with some ground beef. Now the choice of ground beef that you make is probably the most important part of the process. And so this is 73% lean and 27% fat. And that's really important. You wanna make sure to find the fattiest ground beef that you possibly can, because you're just gonna be mixing in lean meat with it. So the fat ratio is gonna go down as you mix in that lean meat. And what I like to do, and what I've done in the past, and it seems to work out really well, is I basically just take half ground beef, half ground duck and goose. So that's the plan for today. I've got 10 pounds of this ground beef and I don't know, probably about 10 pounds of duck and goose meat. So we'll mix it up, bag it up, and you guys will see what it looks like at the end. So my meat was a little bit too frozen and that made it pretty difficult, but I think I got it cut up and threw it around the mixer a little bit to where it thawed out just enough to where we're gonna be able to do this. So we're gonna just start taking this and putting it in the mixer, plopping it out in here, and then we'll get it stuffed into bags. And that's pretty much the gist of it. It's very easy. You can make chili, you can make burgers, you can make hamburger helpers, spaghetti, you name it. Anything that you'd use ground beef for, you can use your duck and goose meat with it. So that's pretty much the gist of it. So we're gonna get started on here and start mixing the meat. We'll start small. So we'll just cut that, put it in there, and we'll try and grab roughly the same amount of our duck and goose meat and put that in there as well. See, it's not an exact science by any means. You just want to put some fat in it, make it taste good. The ground beef, just adding the fat in there helps it out tremendously, but adding the beef itself, it kind of helps give it more of a beefier flavor and it doesn't stand out. And so if you got family or friends that aren't too keen on eating duck and goose meat, you could slip this in your tacos or whatever and they would never know. So it just kind of takes that edge off and makes it a little bit less gamey, and that's why I personally like it. I might have put a little too much in here. You really just want to mix it up enough to where it's kind of blended really well, because when you cook it, it's really kind of going to mix together, and then I'm going to use my grinder to stuff my bags, and that'll also help mix it up as well. So you really just kind of want to get it blended enough to where, you know, with this, you have some dark chunks and you have some lighter chunks. So that's generally the gist of it. I think, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. I'll give you guys a close up here to what it kind of looks like. So if you guys can see, you can tell what's the beef and what is the duck and goose meat. It mixed in there really well. And this is my first time using a stand mixer to do this. I've done it in a food processor before. When I was in my college apartment, I just had a little food processor, but this definitely does make a big difference. And I think when I make summer sausage and stuff, I'm gonna be using the stand mixer as well. It just mixes it up so well. The trick is to start the mixer slow, otherwise you're gonna fling meat all over the kitchen. Okay, so that was one batch of beef and duck and goose meat. So I used a 1 gallon baggie that was filled with ground duck and goose. I mixed it with probably a third of that 10-pound block of ground beef. You can definitely pick and choose how much meat you want to put in there for your mix. It's all up to you and what you like. So I would say start at half and half, see how you like that, and progressively use less and less beef, because you can reuse that beef and mix it in with some more duck and goose meat and just kind of stretch it a little bit farther. But I think the 1/3 of a 10-pound log of ground beef with a 1-gallon bag full of ground duck and goose, it looks like a pretty good mix ratio, but we never know until we try it. So now is time to stuff our baggies. So I've got some little bags from when I made breakfast sausage. I'll leave a link to these down below to go and pick some of those up if you guys want some of these. I think I got a pack of 100 for like $5, so pretty cheap. You can get a 1 pound of ground beef in here, and I just think it packs a little nicer than Ziploc baggies and keeps nicer. So all we're gonna do is just slip this over the end of our sausage stuffer funnel on our grinder. We're gonna turn it on and start just feeding it through. There we go. That is 1 pound-ish of hamburger meat made from duck and hamburger. So to seal this up, I just use electrical tape and wrap it around there. I twist it a few times, electrical tape around, and it keeps it fresh for a pretty long time. So there's one. I've got a lot more to do, and you might be asking, why do I not just spoon it in there? It's because when you use the sausage stuffer, it kind of keeps all the air pockets out of the bag and the meat itself, so that in turn helps it keep fresh longer, is just kind of getting all that air out of there. I need to get a sausage stuffer because those things work a little bit quicker than this grinder, and all I gotta say about this grinder is the little handle to push everything down through the hole. It's got this little compartment in here to keep some pieces to the grinder in, and it just doesn't fit your hand very well, and it doesn't work very well for pushing it through. So complaint is over. Now time to just get all this bagged up. Well, here is our finished product. We got 9 of these little baggies full of ground duck meat. I also want to take back what I said about using a spoon to fill the bags. It's definitely a lot faster than using the grinder. The grinder is more professional and it's more of like how you're supposed to do it, but using the spoons made it a lot faster and a lot easier, and my arms are less fatigued because that plunger thing sucks. But I could tell there is a little bit of air in some of these. Some of these are pretty good. Others we'll just have to see. But they're sealed up pretty tight. I just used some electrical tape there at the top to seal those up. And we'll just write what they are on them and put them in the freezer. Like I said, you can use this for pretty much anything that you would use ground beef for. So whether that be hamburgers, chili, tacos, spaghetti, you name it, you can use this in there. So if you guys have done anything similar to this, let me know in the comments. What do you guys do? What's your mix? What do you guys do for like ground beef to duck meat? Or how many pounds of duck meat for how many pounds of bacon do you add? Because there's so many ways of doing this out there. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. It's just up to your personal preference. I think I probably went a little bit too lean on the beef for this one, but I think it'll be all right. It'll work, and we'll just have to test it out and see. And we're just using the duck meat that we've got. If you guys like this video, be sure to leave me a big old thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot when you guys do that. And you can also follow me on my social media. I've got a Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. So be sure to follow me on there and stay up to date with what's going on. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you on the next one.